Good evening, wherever you are. We are Talents Unlimited Toastmasters. We are in California. We meet every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And wherever you are, you can come visit and be part of that discussion. Sometimes we have, pardon me, tonight we have the Toastmasters Promise series where we're going to go over the Toastmasters promises. And if you're just tuning in right now, we've pretty much finished the series, but you can always refer back to our YouTube videos to refer to all the Toastmasters promises. But tonight we're going to talk about why it's so important for Toastmasters to bring guests to a Toastmasters meeting. There are more benefits than you may think. So without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about why it is so important to bring a guest to Toastmasters meeting. It's something that we should all do. It's not just for any particular office, such as the membership vice president. That responsibility, that sharing of knowledge is everyone's responsibility to share that experience of Toastmasters. So starting off, Jim, can you give me one reason why bringing a guest to a Toastmasters meeting is important?
More fun.
More fun. Well, that's definitely true.
Yeah.
More
So
fun.
if people leave clubs, right? I mean, let's face it. I I went from California to Florida, and I happened to be an exception. I maintained almost every single club I had in California, and I haven't joined any in Florida. But most people, when they move or if they lose their jobs, they leave the club.
Mhm.
If something happens or there's some family emergency or whatever, and I mean, life goes on, right? Life happens and people leave. The club should maintain at least 20 members in the club. But that's so that if some people don't show up to the meeting, you still have enough people so that you have an organized meeting without having people doing double roles. So it's important to keep at least 20 people in the club. Well, it's funny that you mentioned people in the club. But there's two things that are going on right now in our district, District 33. There's two things that are going on. So Toastmasters International is pushing the Smedley Award. So between August 1 and September 30, every club who's trying to get the Smedley Award needs to get 5 new people added to their club within those 2 months. And in District 33, I am the Division H director, and I threw out the challenge across the entire district for each club to get 1 new member per month. And for those clubs that actually do it, I am having trophies made up for whatever club actually succeeds in doing it.
Why is it important for the guest to come to a Toastmasters meeting? What are some of the benefits for potential Toastmaster or just bringing a guest? What is in it for the guest? Nandita, what is in it for the guest?
A guest would probably see a whole new environment, which they may not have seen before, even if they wanted to speak at any party or any other occasion. There may not have been that much of camaraderie and goodwill that is extended to a guest when they come to a Toastmasters meeting, because it has a totally different aura. And they may just enjoy it. And if we are really good hosts, they may just want to join. I have tried that. I have asked my friends to come in. They have been very happy, but they always say that we don't have the time, or my child is very young. I cannot really spend so much time. And unfortunately, because we are on Zoom, at times, if these people are very adept on those digital functionings, and someone is not good at doing it, and making mistakes, that they're not impressed. But any person that I brought in has been very happy with the camaraderie and the friendship that is extended to a guest. And I think that's one of the reasons that we should bring them in, so that they can see how we function.
It's great that you said that. For myself, my reflecting back, my first experience with Toastmasters was observing the structure of the meeting. Now, our particular club, our venue is different because we speak from the heart. It's more impromptu. So, and for all of our guests watching this, what you see and is not this is not a prepared speech. The individuals that are speaking tonight are speaking from their heart. They're speaking impromptu, which is a huge benefit, to have that conversation when you least expect it. Again, for myself, seeing the structure of the meeting and the supportive environment, that was important, because there's a sense of intimidation that I believe we probably all have had, with the exception of Jim, of course. But I was intimidated, but the supportive environment in action was key, and it kind of got me a little bit more interested in how Toastmasters was not so intimidating, and perhaps I could actually grow and see myself grow as well. How about you, Martin? If you see anything benefits for the guests other than what I just mentioned, or Nandita, Jim?
Yeah, I think what I would add be, there's benefits that a guest can, benefit from. For example, if it's someone new that's, someone young, or someone that's in the process of seeking employment, right? That it prepares them for the interview process. The public, they don't, so they don't get frazzled or nervous during the interviews. Or if someone that's already has a job and maybe they want to get a promotion, and where it requires some type of public speaking, that would prepare them for that next stage of their career. So I think, for them, knowing that these skills and tools are available to them at, or Toastmasters International, whatever club they select, but it's there, and it will help them with either their schooling or their careers that they may not know otherwise, that those things are out there and available to them. So I think, like I said, there's a lot that the clubs offer to people, depending on what they want to do with their lives or what stage they're in. For me, when I joined, I went a couple times to the club, and I went to a couple of clubs and to kind of check them out to see, how they ran the meetings, what was offered, because at the time my job required me to go out and do seminars. So that was my goal, was to find a club that would offer that, you know, that skills or experience for me. And that's the reason why I joined. But like I said, I, like you, I started as a guest, was looking for that right club where I felt comfortable in that setting. And yeah, I mean, it did. It really helped me with my job. And I felt more comfortable when I had to do conferences.
Great analysis. You know, just an observation here. Without getting into detail, Nandita, what industry career field are you associated with?
Oh, I'm in the teaching industry.
Okay. And I'm in aerospace, and Jim is in finance and everything else. Jim, if you were to classify yourself as a good someone you can network with, what are the possibilities of someone networking with you?
Really?
Yeah, other than getting a tattoo in the Navy. All right. So.
I didn't get any tattoos in the Navy. I didn't get my tattoos until 10 years after I got out of the Navy.
Oh, really? Okay.
I've had a varied career. I've been in a whole bunch of different things. So in the Navy, I learned computer hardware. I got out of the Navy, I went to school, I learned computer software. I've been in the computer industry for, I don't know, 40 years now. I've also been a bartender. I've been a bouncer. I've taught martial arts for almost 20 years. I do finances. I teach the Toastmaster stuff and the kids. What else have I done? I forget. I've done so many things I forget. So
Well, that's the whole point of why I asked the question. Indeed, I myself, I came from aerospace, went in medical device. Now I'm back in aerospace. I did a small stint in pharmaceutical. Okay, so it's come full circle where I'm back now in aerospace. But the whole premise of the question is having a guest come and learn about, as we learn about one another, there is that possibility of the potential of networking. Well, there's many times, Jim, yourself, where you present presentations of in finance, or the latest in news in finance, with the, as an example, BRICS, which we're still waiting for. So that, you know, those type of things. And Nandita, you know, her being in the teaching education sector, and I believe Martin may be in the mortgage sector, if I recall correctly. So that the networking potential for the guests who may be starting out, and somebody mature who may want a career change as well. So that networking potential is there, and that's something else I consider valuable. And as Martin has indicated, and spoke about, and that was the interviewing process, things like that. So the potential's there for the guests. We got to bring them in to let them know, as you've always pointed out in the past, what's in it for them, what's in it for the guest. And that's what obviously there was something in it for me, or else I wouldn't be here. And it's been like 5 years now. So, and I have to thank everybody here, because every week I come, there's always new experiences.
So you made mention about feeling intimidated,
Mhm.
and then Martin talked about new jobs and new things that are going on and stuff like that. And they kind of have that cross there about, what I'm intimidated to apply for a new position, or I'm intimidated to talk about new job experience, or uh, go out and interview for a new job.
Mhm.
I found that intimidation is just a lack of knowledge. And being in Toastmasters removes that lack of knowledge. So you come to Toastmasters, you learn how to do the impromptu speaking, you learn how to do these other things, and you build your self-confidence. And as you build that self-confidence, and you can then take that and use it outside of Toastmasters in your everyday life. So I think it's very important that people who want to learn public speaking but are intimidated to do so should come to something like Toastmasters. Because the more you practice, the more you learn, the more you know, the less intimidated you will be.
Just a thought on the intimidation. When you learn how to speak, and when you get out amongst the public, and you're taking these new abilities that you've learned, how, Martin, how can that help you land a new job outside of Toastmasters just by learning how to speak? You have any thoughts on that?
I guess first of all, like you said, you both of your knowledge removes that ignorance, isn't it? But then at the same time, I believe all those different pathways, the topics, the paths,
Mhm.
when we experiment with those and do the speeches and all, do you think that I'm asking you back, that we learn how to do that networking and how to go and do an interview? Because I remember I was interviewing, Darnell had a speech, let's say. He had a speech and he said that, no, you do an interview with me. I said, okay, this was in White Talkers. That was a few years ago.
Mhm.
Is that something that Pathways teaches people? How to go and tackle an interview?
I do
If
recall a pathway, I believe it's an elective about interviewing. But and it's an elective, and it is very important. I would say, Nandita and Martin, you both bring up an excellent point about how important it is. I don't want to say just for an interview, because I believe any interaction you have with anybody, whether it's a job or in a cafe or with a waiter or waitress, or even at a mall interacting with guest services, you're interviewing to some extent because you're giving an impression. Martin, what do you think?
I think you guys, you bring up some good points, and I think it's not so much that we're going to teach you step by step how to do the interview, how to get organized, right? It's not about that. It's just giving you some, like a guide, in confidence, because the more you speak, the more confident you become. Um, so when I joined, again, because my position required public speaking at conferences, I joined for that purpose, to help me get to organize for my speeches, instead of trying to prepare the speeches the night before or at the day of the speech. it taught me also to be self-disciplined, to start the process early on, prepare the speech, rehearse it, and then give the speech. But I think talents, well, with any club, it is helping you gain that confidence. But it starts with preparation. And I think that's one of the aspects of the club is, to help you learn how to prepare. Because if you're not prepared, I mean, it is very difficult to give a speech. You're gonna be all over the place. So it starts with learning how to prepare yourself, and then present the speech. And that's why it is so important in the speeches. So it's all about preparing and giving you the confidence to do it. So we're not going to tell you, okay, you must do this for your job interview, whatever it is. It's just helping you. Like I said, it's like a guide. But no, like I said, it helped me a lot when I had to do public speaking. It's to be prepared first, rehearse the speech, and become comfortable.
So we're going to go ahead and conclude tonight's podcast. But just to summarize, potential guests out there, those viewing this podcast, there is a great deal of information waiting for you. And how Toastmasters can help you in your personal and professional life. So this is unrehearsed. And I'm going to ask all of our participants this evening, and using one word and one word only, what do you have to say to our guests? What does Toastmasters offer to them? One word. Starting off with you, Jim.
Fun.
Fun. Candida, one word.
Interest.
Interest. Martin.
Confidence.
Confidence. And I'll end it by saying education. And I just would like to thank everyone again this evening. And for those watching, potential guests, come on, join us here at Toastmasters. And if somebody extends their hand for you to join Toastmasters, it's worth serious consideration to come watch Toastmasters in action. Whether you're changing careers, just entering the job market, or just want to elevate yourself in your current career, Toastmasters has something for you. So again, I want to thank you this evening. We are Talents Unlimited Toastmasters. We meet every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We are in California, and we do have some members that are on the East Coast participating this evening. But we want to thank you and invite you for watching this podcast, and more importantly, invite you for your education and your personal growth. So I bid you good night from Talents Unlimited Toastmasters.